Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another election prediction. This time we have Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, up against former President Donald Trump. So, as I'm setting up the safe states, I would highly recommend subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. We're getting close to 1,000 subs. I'm hoping to hit that by the end of this year, or at least the start of next year. But other than that, we have quite an interesting matchup here. This only happens if Biden drops out of the Democratic primary. I could definitely see Gretchen Whitmer running for the 2024 election as a last-minute candidate, and I think she would be the Democrats' probably one of their best bets at beating Donald Trump, one of their most solid candidates, just based on how well she did in Michigan last year in 2022 in her victory. But let's get right into this. So the first state's Colorado. She would pretty much effectively lock down the state. It's just trending more and more Democratic every year. It's a lost cause for Republicans. Most Democrats would easily win Colorado against Trump or any Republican candidate for that matter. New Mexico and Virginia, traditionally Democratic states. I see Gretchen Whitmer appealing to all parts of the Democratic base here, just locking in these states as 10% Whitmer victories. Maine at large, I also see her winning by a safe blue margin. I think she'd be pretty much able to lock down the state. I could even see her doing a lot better than Joe Biden, Maine second, but still it would be a lean Republican district. New Hampshire, I think she'd probably win the state by 9. I think she would not win it by a safe margin, but she would do pretty well to almost win it by a safe margin, just because this state just hates Donald Trump. Trump's too socially conservative, while this state's just too socially liberal at this point. It's been trending away from Republicans for a while now. Wouldn't shock me if he even goes safe blue in 2024, but I don't think that's going to happen currently with the candidates that we have as the front runners in each of the primaries there. So it'll probably be likely blue in most scenarios in 2024. In Iowa, I think Whitmer would have a lot more Midwestern appeal than Joe Biden. She would definitely outperform him in the state of Iowa, just preventing it from going to safe Republican status, keeping it below a 10-point Trump victory. Nebraska second as well. I think Whitmer would do pretty well in the suburban district that's heavily trending away from Republicans. I think she wins it by a likely blue margin. In Alaska, I'd also think she would drag it down to a likely margin, just with better margins with independent voters overall. Ohio, she's a good Midwestern candidate, but Ohio's just trending away from Democrats, still a likely Republican state. The state of Florida, the state's also trending away from Democrats just due to Cubans and Miami-Dade heavily shifting towards the Republicans, and just Republicans from other states moving here, just turning this state into a more Republican stronghold. So I have this as a likely Republican state. Texas, I think Whitmer would do well in the suburbs and urban regions of Texas. She would also do well with Latino turnout and black turnout as well. I would see she would probably keep it down to a lane Republican victory, but Trump would still win it by about 3.5% against her. But it is having a lot of Democratic trends long term, that's for sure. Okay, next states. I guess we do Nevada and Arizona. Again, Trump's messaging on abortion, him bragging about getting the Supreme Court justices to overturn Roe v. Wade. I think that definitely hurt him in a pro-choice state like Nevada. And overall, Arizona, the state just heavily dislikes Donald Trump, especially its independent voters. With Whitmer, a much younger candidate, that age issue that Biden has, it wouldn't be that much of a concern for Arizona voters. Whitmer would definitely outperform Biden in both these two states with the independents. Okay. I think we'll do North Carolina and Georgia. So North Carolina, I could see her outperforming Joe Biden in the state, but still, it's a tilt Republican state. I think Trump would still narrowly win over this state, just because I don't think Whitmer would be able to get the best margins with independent voters or get the most black turnout here, unless it depends on her VP choice. That could also heavily influence black turnout as well. But I'll probably still have this as a tilt Republican state. Georgia, I would also probably have as lean blue. I think just the Democratic trends here and her being a much younger candidate, I think that would definitely help her in the Atlanta suburbs and probably do better with independent voters. Okay, in Minnesota, I think we'll be able to lock down Minnesota as a likely blue state, probably winning it by about 8 or 9 points or so. Let's just put it as 8.5% victory. Michigan, most polls actually show her winning by a likely blue margin against Donald Trump in a hypothetical 2024 election poll. So I also think she would probably win it by a likely blue margin. She won by a safe, well, I think she won by a safe blue margin in Michigan in the 2022 governor's race. So again, she does have that credibility as a very strong candidate electorally. So I think she'd be able to lock down Michigan for sure. Pennsylvania, however, it wouldn't be likely blue, but it would only be lean blue. I think she would win it by about 2.5% against Trump. Trump would still do very well in the rural areas here. However, Whitmer would do much better than Biden in the suburbs, thus getting her or netting her a lot more votes than Biden in the state of Pennsylvania. She just has better Midwestern appeal, probably a lot more union appeal as well. Wisconsin, I also think she'd do quite well. It's neighboring Michigan. Usually candidates have quite a regional advantage if they're from a neighboring state. So I think Wisconsin as well would go to Gretchen Whitmer. So I only had one tilt state this election prediction. But overall, I think Whitmer would probably win the popular vote against Trump by 4.5%, doing just about as well as Biden did in the 2020 election. I'm pretty sure that was the margin. But other than that, let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. I would highly recommend subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.